you might be a little bit like me. You might have a box of remotes for dedicated consumer electronics, or you might have, in addition, a box of remotes that are supposedly multi-purpose or universal remotes, as they like to call them. This is just a snapshot of some here, and I just wanted to make a quick video showing you mainly a remote which I found quite recently and seems to be very well supported. I just wanted to share that with you if you're having a few issues in trying to get some old devices working. Maybe you want to consolidate down to 1 or 2 remotes and ditch all the others. So I just wanted to just briefly show you some of the ones here, and these 1-for-all Excite programmable remotes were pretty nifty. They had a inbuilt screen and a USB connection on here, but unfortunately they are no longer officially supported, but there is a community out there where you can have a standalone application which you then load up various files that you find from people who've perhaps posted them, and it can work quite well, but it's also quite a hassle to get working, and you obviously do need to spend some time, probably a few hours actually, to set everything up. So that's the Excite, which you can just about still use. This one here is quite a nifty idea. I've got a feeling Silvercrest, is that Lidl? It probably is, isn't it? Lidl or Aldi. And this one was quite nice in that you could program it without necessarily having the guide to it. So you just hold your kind of finger on there and then go through the options. So here it's saying code setup, I'll say yes please. And then instead of the code I can go brand search, and then just go and find the brand and then start to go through all the brand's code. So that's quite nice, and you can do that for these options on here, but it is a little bit old now, so support is waning on that, so that can only really do the common items. Then you've got probably a couple of remotes here, which are, well, 3 remotes I'd say, which are like the pound shop cheapies, or the ones that might be no more than a £5. So these, sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. It's a bit of a hit and miss. This one probably is the most configurable one, and you might have seen that in the pound shops, but not a great sort of look to it particularly. Good for basic functions, but it's when you want to go into menus and setups that it can be a pain with some of these remotes. So I'll just move those out of the way. This one is actually the same manufacturer as the one I'm going to show you in a minute. It's a Vivanco. Quite an old school one, this one, so there's a limited amount of products that one supports. And the same with the Woolworths. So this is an old Woolworths universal remote. Now some remotes did have the option to learn from your existing remote, so you could program keys for that. So that was quite good if you had the product from new and you had a remote. But in some cases when you're buying secondhand stuff, you just don't have another remote to use, so the learn function is of limited support. And then you have the 1-for-all again. So this is made by the same company as this Excite 1-for-all, but you are kind of stuck with the programs that are already on here. Now, you might be able to upgrade it. Let's have a look. Yeah, so they do have some pins here, which I believe you can muck about with and perhaps put more codes on. But again, limited support. You know, it's good for most things, but certain things you will struggle with. And then moving into the more usable realm is the Harmony remote. So this is a very basic remote. A lot of Harmonies have screens to them, a lot more configurable. This one's quite good in that you've got quite a few options here. So I think you can store 8 devices, depending on how long the key press is. So that's that. And the software for this one, so it's using an old school USB to connect to the computer. The software is fairly easy to use on this. It's a little bit webby kind of in appearance, which is fine. It does give you the ability to program all of the keys, but only as long as they're in the database for the item that you're trying to add. So certain things, if they're just not there, then it is a bit of a problem, and you might have to go through other devices that perhaps came out around the same time as the one that you're looking for, just to find a particular missing key to add. So that's that. Then moving these all out of the way. I'd like to introduce this one. So this is a remote that is still for sale now. Now I was so lucky to pick it up in a charity shop, and I just thought, oh, it's another bog standard kind of programmable remote. I didn't really think it might even be still usable. But anyway, I picked it up for £1, so that was good. And it didn't have a cable, so I had to use my own. But I found that you can download the software for it, so it's like a standalone application, which then goes off and queries a database of device codes and just updates basically. And I was amazed at the selection available for this brand. So there really was a lot on there. And I wanted to power some of the more obscure items, and I've dug out a LG BH100, which is the precursor to the BH200, which I feature quite a bit on my channel. That's the multi HD DVD Blu-ray player, and I didn't have an original remote for the BH100. Now luckily the remote that runs on the BH200 does work, but again I don't have the official one. I was only using like one of these basically to do everything on the BH200. But the letdown with the BH100 was that when you power it on, it doesn't show any setup screen or any kind of menu system. So it just goes to like an LG logo basically. Whereas the BH200 it does, so then you can obviously navigate, go into setup and change things around. But you just couldn't do it with this remote. So on the BH100 I had to just see if I could find a sequence that would work. So I had a look through their database and they didn't have any support for BH100 or BH200 in the database. But I googled online to see what Blu-ray players came out in the subsequent year after the BH100. So I narrowed it down to several devices, and it was just a case of going through those devices looking to see if there was a setup button, and I found one that did have a setup button and downloaded it to this remote, went away, and lo and behold, everything on here worked on the BH100, including the setup, which is what I really needed. So to get into setup, you just have to go shift and then you press setup. It stays in shift mode, so you have to kind of take it out of shift mode, but you're only going to go into setup, you know, a few times. So that was really useful because the video resolution on that was set down somewhat. I think it was maybe set at 720p, so I upped that to the highest, which is 1080p, and I'm happy now. So I've been able to access the setup menu of the BH100. So just to back up my kind of claim here, I'll just show you what's on this remote or how I've programmed it. The other thing I've programmed on here was actually a Laserdisc remote to run the Japanese K88 player that I've got, the karaoke NTSC sort of DVD Laserdisc player, and that works fine as well. So that was, I think, using a DVL, was it 919 or 909 remote, something like that, but it was in the database, so that was a bonus. Anyway, yeah, I'll show you what the software looks like. So this is what you're presented with. So just to show you what I have on mine, so I've got an LG TV. That's a TV that I fixed in one of my videos. It's actually got a different main board to what it was shipped with originally, so I have to obviously use the updated model number, which is this one here. And then I have a Pioneer Laserdisc player, so mine is a K88, but I'm running with a DVL 919E. Then I have a Panasonic 4K player, and that's a UB820. And then down the bottom here, I have a DVX 392H, and that is running the BH100, and we'll probably run the BH200 as well. So there's just so many brands in the database and so many models. So if I go for something like, oh, I don't know, shout out something. Yeah, let's just do Panasonic for now. So you can just see you've got your SAT and your DT. Oh, I need to actually select Panasonic, I think. There we go, and then click on here and then show you. So we have TV, VCR, all these different TVs, and it literally goes on and on and on. So the really good thing that I like about this clean standalone application, and not one that's hosted in a web interface, is that it's just very, very quick to find your way around. And some of the more common items in here have got these PDF documents, and all these are just showing you where the buttons are. So if I just click on this TV VCR and download it, it comes up and you get the full key and functions layout. So it's showing you some shift options here. So that's pretty comprehensive actually, that remote. So click that off. So essentially it's the code on here. So if I want to store one, let's just, should I pick the, I know it, I'll program the DVD player. I'll just overwrite that actually. And I'll say I've got a Sony instead of a Panasonic, and what was the popular one? Is it X700? Yeah, so I can see down the bottom there's a UB here, X700. So let's have a look at the PDF before I do anything. So that's the original remote, and then it's showing you the commands that map to the original one. And then if I go back to the application and say, okay, I want to install this now, I think I can just double click, and if you notice along here it now says Sony UBP X700. If I go click to install, it just does it in such quick time. But I don't want that one on there, do I? I want to go back to my Panasonic. So let's go P-A-N, Panasonic, and just going to put in 820. And search, okay, it's already searching, so we can look in here. Aha, there it is. I want to go back to that one. So it's already highlighted, so I'm just going to go double click. It's updated it in here. I'm going to go click to install. It's done. So I'm just going to have a little look for the menu system because I haven't done that, just to see what options. It shouldn't find anything to update because it was doing that anyway. Instructions, it's just bringing up a PDF. So you can download the whole instruction manual as well, which is a nice thing to be able to do. And then I bet the troubleshooting is doing a similar thing. So yeah, so all these are like hyperlinks, which are fine as long as the website exists, I guess, but maybe they're planning to support this for quite a long time. So this is the version that I'm running. Yeah, and I was pleasantly surprised by this remote. So I'm not making any money, I'm not trying to sell it particularly, I just wanted other people to know that there are some pretty good options out there that are a lot quicker than some of the more obvious ones, I would say. I'll just show you the remote again. It's quite lightweight affair. I wouldn't say it's a premium build by any means. It's got a nice lightness to it. The buttons all work pretty well on it actually. Nice size, so no problems there. And that is the model that I'm using, UR40 USB. So definitely an excellent remote to have to hand if you're mucking about with old consumer electronics. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. I'll make similar videos in the future. Bye for now.